your guy Bendu coming at y'all with another video today. And today I wanted to talk about this Enes Kanters situation. So I've been following it a little bit. Well, not a little bit. Like I've recently basically caught myself up on it. And it's definitely a dumbass case. It's a case of um empire using celebrity to push their agenda, which I don't get, why they're using Enes Kanter of all fucking people, but hey, go figure. But found this article written by Alan McLeod from Mint Press News interesting. So we're going to go ahead and jump into that, and I'm going to give my opinions on it. All right, so again, like I said, this is written by Alan McLeod. It's from Mint Press News, and you already know what it is. I got the article link below. So go read the whole thing if you want to. But the NBA's national security state star, Celtics or CIA? Gulenis Hoops star Enes Kanter rides both benches. While there's no evidence that because Enes Kanter is fucking trash. Even in 2K, I never used this nigga in 2K, bro. I always tell them as soon as they put him in, I'd be like, yo, get his bum ass out of here, bro. He will be the player in 2K that would come in and fucking just randomly step out of bounds or some dumbass shit like that. And I would be, yo, get his dumb ass out of here, bro. But yeah, while there is no evidence that Enes Kanter is a CIA employee, the 29-year-old hoops star does have a great many troubling relationships with some of America's most powerful state officials. Despite not even leaving the bench, I like how they're making that known. He's a fucking bench warmer. Let me get a drink of water right quick, boy. All right, back at it. Despite not leaving the bench, Boston Celtics center Enes Kanter was the one drawing the headlines in their season opener at New York City's Madison Square Garden. The 6'10" Turk sported shoes emblazoned with the words "Free Tibet." Under the Chinese government's brutal rule, Tibetan people's basic rights and freedoms are non-existent, Kanter said in a video posted on social media explaining the move. 2 days later, he accused heartless dictator of China, Xi Jinping, of running slave labor camps in Xinjiang, demanding he free the Uyghur people and stop the genocide now. Kanter went even further on October 26, directly calling for the overthrow of the Chinese government and sharing his new freedom shoes, which show him playing basketball with a cartoon version of Jinping's severed head. Change is coming and no one can stop it, he wrote, sharing the hashtags Free Hong Kong and Stand with Taiwan. He also challenged Nike founder Phil Knight, as well as basketball greats Michael Jordan and LeBron James, to visit with him the slave labor camps in Xinjiang, where he implied Nike shoes are made. So it's very interesting, man. So going back to this one right here, which one was it? To all this right here, if there was a Chinese basketball player, calling for, the execution and the overthrow of the American government, we'd be ready to go start World War III over this. The presses would be going crazy with it. Sagar and Jetty would be losing his fucking shit on set. He'll be jizzing his pants for them to nuke China over this. But it's very fascinating that they're like, there's a great many things to call Michael Jordan and LeBron James out for. Like, I call LeBron James out all the time. Like, look, on court, LeBron James is the GOAT. Yes, when I say he's the GOAT, I'm including Michael in that conversation. He's better than Michael. Debate me, bro. I'll debate anybody on that. But all jokes aside, though, there's a great many things to, critique Michael Jordan and LeBron James on. I don't like how Michael Jordan decides to stay out of politics. A lot of people like that. I don't, because as an athlete, and especially as a black athletes have had a long storied history of being politically active. A lot of the times they didn't have no fucking choice. Like Muhammad Ali was being forced to go fight in a war that he knew was bullshit. So, and obviously with people like Kaepernick's a controversial figure as well. There's some things I agree with Kaepernick on. There's some that I don't. But overall, I agree with his stand that he made for police brutality. But LeBron James and Michael Jordan, there's a great many things LeBron James and them could be critiqued for. I critique Michael Jordan or LeBron James for his he kowtows to the Democratic Party a lot when it comes to election time, shaking hands with people like Hillary Clinton and all these established Democrats that created the situation of poverty that he rose out of by going into the NBA. Same thing with Jay-Z and all the niggas. Like, I critique all them for that. But here, right here, this video I'm about to show you right here is hilarious because so Kanter, he was talking all this shit about LeBron in the press and on Twitter and all this shit. And as you're gonna see in this fucking video, much like a lot of people that do the warmongering shit for the United States, they turn out to be a bunch of little bitches and aren't actually going to go fight the wars. It's going to be you, me, your sons and daughters going to fight these wars. Not in this fucking Kanter. But here's what he had to say, or didn't have to say, to LeBron when he was on the sidelines.
Probably a bit of a cheap call, to be quite honest. Great hustle play by LeBron, but enough that you're not going to challenge it.
66-59 Lakers. LeBron having some fun with the Celtics bench.
So there, LeBron fouled the guy, and then he went to go talk to the bench. Kanter didn't even look he couldn't even look this nigga in his fucking eye. That's how I know you're a bitch-made ass nigga, bro. That's some bitch ass shit. How you gonna talk all this shit about me in the press, go on and on and on and on and on, and then you bitch up when I'm right here? And here's LeBron too. He talks about, like, he addressed this. So the video I just showed you was from more recently, I think like last week, because this is after Bron's suspension. He got suspended for like elbowing somebody or some shit. But this video I'm showing you now, I think it's from when Kanter, first was coming out, and he actually had like a picture of LeBron on the sneakers, like bowing down to Xi Jinping and all that. So check this out.
Do you have any reaction to Enes Kanter using your likeness on his shoes in his advocacy for human rights?
No, I think if you know me, I don't really give too many people my energy, and he's definitely not someone I will give my energy to. Trying to use my name to create, an opportunity for himself. Definitely won't comment too much on that, if any, and that'll be where I lay that at. He's always, kind of had a word or two to say, in my direction. And as a man, if you got an issue with somebody, you really come up to him. He had his opportunity tonight. I seen him in the hallway. He walked right by me, so.
Thank you.
So yeah, Bron talking about, bro, I saw his bum ass in the hallway. He didn't say shit. I'm paraphrasing, of course, but that's how I'm going to say it. If I was in the press, I'd be like, I saw his bitch ass in the tunnel. His bum ass didn't say nothing to me, and he went and sat on that bench, didn't say shit. That's how I would have said it. But yeah, man, like, Kanter's a bitch, bro. This is some bitch made ass shit. You like, honestly, now it's gonna reveal in the article, because at first I was like, he's just trying to get attention, this, that, and the third, blah, 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 and he understands that this is the way to do it. But I started seeing tweets from different people about him being tied into, like, CIA and things like that. And when I get into this article, later into this article, you'll see. So let's continue. While Chinese media have dropped Celtics games as a result, Kanter's political stands have been met largely with rapturous applause in official circles closer to home. His only crime is having the courage to speak out against oppression, reacted Florida Senator and Republican President hopeful Marco Rubio. And like, anytime Marco Rubio gives a fuck about oppression and gives a fuck about human rights, run the other fucking direction, okay? This is a guy who stands up against black people protesting police brutality in his own fucking country. So Marco Rubio can suck the biggest fucking dick there is, because he's full of shit. Meanwhile, conservative media outlets like the National Review and hosts such as Glenn Beck have described him as a hero. So that's what and this is the narrative. Like, now a lot of leftists approach China from like the human rights angle and things like that, but this is the fervor coming from the right when it comes to China. This is, I hear this from a lot of my conservative friends about China, some of my center friends, center right friends and everything. And it's very weird to me, because it's like, again, they'll preach to you about how the government lies and how they're full of shit. Oh, look what the FBI did to Trump, this, that, and the third. The CIA was after Trump. That's why he couldn't get the pedophiles, because the CIA was after him. But we're going to believe them when it comes to China. We're going to believe every single fucking word they say about China. And it honestly harkens back to Soviet Cold War era bullshit that was being fed to the populace back then. Like, literally, I was talking to a friend on a group chat. Like, we debate about, like, specifically China all the time. And I'm like, bro, literally swipe out Soviet Union or anything Soviet related during the Cold War era and put in China, and you sound exactly like that. And we know the outcome of the Cold War, that a lot of what people were being told at the time about the Cold War, a lot of it was fucking bullshit. It was to drum up fear. It was a way to negate from the problems that were going on within the country, and honestly to start the looting of the country during during that time period as well, and ramp up the military industrial complex. And they're doing it again. This is why I say Americans crave this shit, man. Like, and if you're a citizen from the outside looking in, if you're a citizen from another country on the outside looking in, especially a citizen from, a non-imperialist country, not one of the Western imperialist powers, if you're a citizen from, not from, one of those countries and shit like that, you're genuinely afraid because you may be in the crosshairs of this bullshit. So that's the perspective that people tend to not look at when they see it from that perspective. But this is why I push back on a lot of, and I'm not making it a left and right thing. It's an imperialist thing. But the China narrative I hear a lot comes a lot from the right wing. And it's like, I call out fuckery on this channel when it comes to left, when it comes to the left's bullshit, when it came to Russiagate and all that. And I'm going to call y'all motherfuckers out, people on the right, when it comes to the China stuff, because y'all sound like Democrats about Russia. That's literally what you sound like. And you're propping up people like Enes Kanter, who you're going to find out more about this motherfucker as I go through the article. On social media, however, the response was more mixed. While many praised his actions, others pointed to his troubling history of working with many of the world's worst human rights abusing nations and questioned whether the whole thing was a national security state PR stunt. Enes Kanter's CIA became a meme around the internet, and that's when I caught wind of this whole situation going on, with many speculating about his links to Washington. Enes Kanter deserves all the scrutiny he has received. Kanter's mentor, Fethullah Gulen, has protected CIA agents, and his anti-China operation comes just weeks after the CIA announced a renewed focus on China. Kanter has rapidly become the face of the U.S.'s propaganda campaign against the Beijing 2022 Olympics alongside NED-backed forces. So, going back, I want to address this. Where was it? All right, yeah. While Chinese media have dropped Celtics again, this would be my advice to China. No, I should not be advising a country. If I was to advise a country, there would be some changes. I'll say that. There would be some changes. But if I would say, bro, like, I understand. Like, I wholeheartedly, when you have a fucking a dude on a basketball team calling for the decapitation of your fucking president, calling for the violent overthrow of your government, and replacing it with a neoliberal hellscape government, I understand why you would, block the games and things like that. But when they censor shit in China, when it comes to them, and that's one of my critiques of China. I don't fuck with the censorship in that country. Now, I don't believe the censorship is like rampant and as bad as they make it out to be here in the States. But like things like this, let the games play. Fight. I would fight. Have public people on your side, because the facts align with your side. Go out there and rebut what he's saying. Like, that's what I'm saying. I can't agree with that. I wouldn't rebut with censorship. I would rebut with more speech and information. The information and speech is there, but China's looking at it from the perspective of, we don't, like, fuck that shit. Like, we don't want to have to deal with that because we don't fucking have to. So I understand why they would do that, but me personally, I just don't agree with censorship on this. You already know how I've talked about this a lot on this channel. Don't agree with censorship. Shouldn't be censoring that shit. Yeah, and that's just what it is, man. You have athletes here in the United States that call out, whichever president is opposing to their political views and things like that. And, games aren't being censored. Now, note, as far as I know, I haven't seen, like Colin Kaepernick or any of the conservative athletes coming out calling for the decapitation of either Joe Biden or Donald Trump. That hasn't happened. That's very extreme. And when you have a player who's linked to American intelligence, calling for the overthrow and decapitation of your leader, I can understand why you would react that way. But when you react that way, it gives them ammunition to say, oh, look, they're censoring, look. So like I said, on one, I don't agree with censorship of any kind at any time. And two, rock out with it. Combat it with more facts and information, bro. Do it like what fucking Iran does, do what Syria does. They just combat them with information. Now, Western media people aren't going to report it, but you're going to get outlets like RT and you're going to get independent media that's going to report it. So, but continuing, Enes Kanters. Oh yeah, I read that already. That was that was a statement from Danny Haifong. So he talked to Danny Haifong about this as well. While there is no evidence that the 29-year-old star is a CIA employee, Kanter does have a great many troubling relationships with some of America's most powerful state officials. In July, for instance, he traveled to Washington to meet senior war planner John fucking Bolton, a key figure in the Iraq War deception and former President Donald Trump's most hawkish national security advisor. The two met in the Russell Senate office building, Kanter announcing that he had a great discussion on human rights with his friend. Again, like I said, just like Marco Rubio, if you're having human rights discussions with John Bolton, that run the other way, bro. And if it like Kanter having discussions about human rights and especially Muslim human rights of all people of the Islamic faiths, human right, it's bullshit. Bro, you're talking to John Bolton about human rights. That's funny. That's so funny. The Turkish star also met with Trump's son-in-law and senior advisor Jared Kushner, sharing a video of himself and Kushner showing a video of himself with Kushner and Israeli ambassador to the U.S., Gilad Erdan. He claimed that good things are ahead. He also has a close relationship with Marco Rubio, whom he described as a champion of freedom around the world. You mean a champion of fucking coups? He's a champion of coups around the world. Is that what you meant to say? Wow. This is fucking wild, bro. A huge thanks to Senator Marco Rubio for standing up for human rights, freedom, and democracy, Kanter wrote on his Facebook page, alongside a video of their meeting in the Capitol building. This is funny, bro. This is hilarious. Kanter is a regular on the Western government-sponsored human rights NGO circuit, speaking a number of times at the Human Rights Foundation. The HRF is headquartered in the Empire State Building, an apt address for a group that serves the U.S. empire. The HRF's founder, Thor Halvorsen, and that's the guy that was the guy Jimmy Dore like crashed his fucking I think it was called the Freedom Forum or something like that. And they were talking about human rights and they were listing all of the enemy states of the United States. But as soon as Jimmy asked him, he was like, so are we going to talk about the United States as well when it comes to the repression of people and when it comes to human rights abuses? And they kicked them out of the forum for that. They kicked them out. So again, you know what this is about. Thor Halvorsen is the son of a former Venezuelan government official widely accused of being a CIA informant and a gun runner for the agency's dirty wars in Central America in the 1980s, and is the cousin of convicted Venezuelan terrorist Leopoldo Lopez. Lopez was a leader in the U.S.-backed coup in 2002 in a wave of political terror in 2014 that killed at least 43 people and caused an estimated $15 billion worth of property damage. A major figure on the right wing of Venezuela politics, Lopez told journalists that he wants the United States to formally govern the country once President Nicolas Maduro is overthrown. And this is what they want to do to China, by the way. This is what they want to do to China. Kanter is also friends with another HRF regular, Yeonmi Park, a North Korean defector who makes gigantic sums of money and has some gigantic, of money telling lurid and demonstrably false stories about her former home country. Like that whole Rogan interview was just hilarious, bro. You can tell Rogan, you already know what Rogan was looking at. You know what he was looking at them things. But yeah, man, the fact and he got criticized for that. Even some of his own friends was like, bro, really? Come on, dog. Did you hear what the fuck she was saying? Like that's why I'm like, he wasn't listening. He was looking at them things, man. He wasn't listening. He was like, yeah. Oh crap! Like monkeys throw poop at you? Wow, come on, B. Come on. Sharing a video of them playing basketball together. Park thanked Kanter for speaking truth to power. You are a true inspiration, and I am honored to call you my CIA friend. She added, if Kanter is indeed speaking truth to power, he is close enough to it that he can whisper. Another case in point is his girlfriend, Ariana what? Grande? No, not Grande. I think she's dating Pete Davidson now or somebody. I don't know. Some other skinny white boy with tattoos. I don't know. Ariana Rockefeller. Again, if Kanter is indeed speaking truth to power, he is close enough to it that he can whisper. Another case in point is his girlfriend, Ariana Rockefeller, the scion of the Rockefeller banking dynasty. A second highly unusual feature of Kanter's politics is just how passionately he is committed to the state of Israel. Bro, you can't make this shit up, bro. Indeed, by this late stage in his basketball career, Kanter spends almost as much time with senior Israeli officials as he does on the court. In January, he announced publicly that he had enjoyed a great conversation about human rights and justice with Israeli Minister of Foreign Affairs official Lior Hayat. A few weeks later, Kanter had another meeting supposedly on the same subject with his great friend and Likud politician Ophir Katz. That Israel is one of the world's worst human rights abusers and has been labeled a racist apartheid state by the United Nations, and human rights groups like B'Tselem and Human Rights Watch appears not to bother him at all. Doesn't bother me. Indeed, Kanter met Kushner at an AIPAC event where he also had, in his words, the honor and pleasure to be in the company of officials from the UAE and Bahrain, two of the planet's worst human rights abusing nations, although both are close partners of the United States. So that's okay with him. Earlier this year, Kanter also co-authored a Newsweek editorial alongside the Israeli permanent representative to the UN in which he denounced the extreme left's singling out of the only Jewish state as a despicable act of anti-Semitism. There we go. The only way to defeat racism, they argued, was to come together to support the state of Israel. Well, AOC must have heard Kanter, bro. She must have a crush on Kanter or something, because she definitely, man, bruh. Her and the squad, bruh. I think the only one that that is consistent on voting against Israel is Rashida Tlaib, and that's because she's a fucking Palestinian. So, bitch, you better. Yo, bitch, you better. This is wild, bro. This is wild. Kanter oversees his own basketball academy and teaches other Muslims that their opposition to Israel is purely based on anti-Semitic bigotry. Oh my God. You're teaching kids this shit? You know, people yell all day about kids, you know, when it comes to the LGBTQ stuff, like the gay, what they call gay propaganda and everything. But they're perfectly okay with brainwashing children into American exceptionalism. They're perfectly okay with brainwashing children into American imperialism. And apparently they're perfectly okay with brainwashing children and believing in Israel, especially if they're Muslim. You know, Muslims' opposition to Israel is purely based on anti-Semitism. Maybe it's based upon Israel going in, stealing people's fucking land, stealing other Muslims' lands, and brutalizing them for decades, and basically rendering them second-class citizens via apartheid. Maybe that's why. He is attempting to start another basketball camp in Israel. Such a committed Zionist is he that he was named the 11th most important pro-Israel influencer. In response, he said he wanted to make it to the top 3 next year. Bro, he can't get enough of them Israel nuts, bro. He loved gargling them Jones, bro. I saw him on Fox News the other day with Tucker Carlson giving America, the fucking Gawk 3000 with the Twister Wizard, my nigga, bro. Oh my God. Uncle Sam said, bro, chill, dog. I done did my shit off, bro. Get off me. Like, thirsty ass nigga, man. Get out of here. Yo. God damn, bro. I've never seen somebody gobble so much Israeli penis as fucking Enes Kanters, bro. It's wild. His support wildly contrasts with his countrymen. Only 2% of Turks hold a positive opinion of Israel, with 86% feeling negatively towards the country. This is crazy. This is crazy. In fact, in Turkey, Israel is even less popular than ISIS. That's probably mostly because they're like the Turkish government is funding ISIS, but that's a whole nother conversation. Still, you're less popular than fucking ISIS. Jesus Christ. Kanter's strange politics. Now, this moves into his Gulen ties. Kanter's strange politics largely stem from the fact that he's a member of the Gulen movement, a conservative Islamist fraternal organization based around preacher Fethullah Gulen. The movement has expanded across over 100 countries and can boast millions of members in Turkey and further afield. The Gulen movement is an economic powerhouse, owning media outlets and a bank and operating over 1,000 schools worldwide, including an estimated 120 in the U.S. Growing up, Kanter attended one of these schools. As such, the Gulen movement operated almost as a state within a state in Turkey, with Gulen himself encouraging his followers to take up positions in the police, local government, administration, judiciary, and other influential roles. Followers are encouraged to donate between 5% and 20%, or sometimes even more, of their incomes to Gulenist projects. Considering that he has earned more than $100 million playing basketball, man, if I could get paid $100 million just to fucking sit on the bench most of the time, bro, god damn. Kanter alone, by the way, I'm probably the best baller, like, political nigga out there, bro. All these political, Jimmy Dore, Richard Medhurst, all these, I'll trash all these niggas, bro. Get on the court with me, B. Nah, it was funny as shit. I saw Jimmy one day was talking about he was watching professor videos, bro. I can just imagine Jimmy watching him like on his phone, sitting on the couch, like, oh shit, how does he do that? How does he keep doing that? Nah, I fucking love Jimmy, dog. Jimmy's fucking hilarious, but yeah, I'm the best hooping political commentator out here, bro. Get on my level. Let me chill. It may be somebody out there that could get me, bro. Jackson Hinkle is pretty. He's fucking in shape. Actually, no, I'll take that back. Danny Highphone could probably beat my ass. Danny Highphone could probably bust my ass because he said he used to play ball in high school, like he used to hoop in high school. He actually was shitting on Kanter about his game in his article, I think. But Jackson Hinkle. But then again, look, I don't mean to be racist. You know, I'm not making it about race. I'm just making an observation. Jackson Hinkle is white. Now, you got some white boys that can hoop. You got your Steve Kerrs. You know, you got your white chocolate out, white chocolate out there. Who else? Kyle Korver is a shooter. All the niggas is shooters mostly, except for white chocolate. White chocolate was nice. Then you got the one nigga that was on the Lakers. What the fuck was his name? He literally looks like a bald eagle. They just traded him. Forgot what his name was. He was out there yamming on niggas. But yeah, Jackson Hinkle, he may be able to outlast me because of his him being in shape. But I would bust Jackson Hinkle's ass in basketball, bro. Let him know. Tweet at him on Twitter. Bendu's trying to ball with him one day. Pause. All right, where am I at? Always getting off topic, man. Oh yeah, considering that he has earned over $100 million playing basketball, Kanter alone could be a significant source of income for the organization. Gulen's followers often display a zealous devotion to their leader, whom they treat almost as a living deity. Gulen himself often rewards his most adoring devotees with divine gifts. In 2019, he took a sip of tea from a glass and instructed his attendants to mail the rest to Kanter. Far from taken aback, Kanter appeared to be rapturously grateful. I am not worthy of this. Why this grace and goodness towards me? He wrote on Twitter sharing a video of the event. Wow. What a fucking cuck. Yo, Gulen fled to the United States in 1998 after the Turkish government began investigating his movement for infiltrating state organizations. He lives in a luxury 25-acre compound. So this is what you get when you come to the United States. You get to bypass all the pores, and you get to live a lap of luxury here in the fucking, especially if you're a CIA asset trying to help them overthrow a country they want to take over. God damn it, man. Maybe the proletariat needs to turn imperialist. Maybe we need to go overthrow some countries for them. Maybe then they'll give us health care. I'm joking, of course. I'm joking. Y'all know anti-imperialist, making a joke here. Successive Turkish governments have claimed without providing evidence that he is a CIA asset. Wouldn't be surprised. However, he is clearly being protected by the U.S. government, which has refused Turkish extradition request. A number of senior CIA officials wrote endorsement letters for his 2008 green card application. He's CIA. Yo, I'll say that shit. He's CIA. The Gulen movement actually got CIA niggas writing letters. Man, fuck out of here. That nigga's CIA. The Gulen movement actually enjoyed a warm relationship with Erdogan and his religiously conservative AKP party when they originally came to power. However, cracks began appearing in 2010 after the preacher condemned Erdogan for sending aid ships to Gaza, a staunch supporter of Israel. Gulen condemned the entire Gaza Freedom flotilla and continued to stand with Jerusalem even after the assault on Mavi Marmara, a Turkish vessel by Israeli special forces. So again, you know, Kanter he seems to be okay with the oppression and repression of, you know, Muslims' rights in Israel. But when it comes to a country that the United States wants to overthrow, like China, oh, that's a problem. We need to bring freedom and fucking democracy to those people now. Kanter's a narc, bro. The rupture came in 2013 over the AKP's response to a corruption scandal. Erdogan, then prime minister, presented the affair as a conspiracy cooked up by Gulenists and closed down many of the movement's schools in retaliation. 3 years later, in 2016, military units attempted to overthrow Erdogan in a bloody and unsuccessful coup. The army took over a number of key cities, and Turkish jets even rained bombs down on the country's parliament. Hundreds of people were killed and thousands injured. The government accused Gulen of being behind the attempt and hit back, purging thousands of his followers from positions of power in the state. While Gulen himself strenuously denies involvement, even later condemning the coup, foreign countries adversarial to Turkey, such as the United Kingdom, concluded that Gulenists were likely the only force that could have realistically attempted such an undertaking. By his own admission, Kanter was at Gulen's side on the day of the coup, a fact that makes him a suspect in the Turkish government's eyes. So yeah, I heard about that he couldn't like return back to his country and shit because of that. They suspected him being a part of that. Kanter's political advocacy against Erdogan began at exactly the point when his leader turned against him. So in other words, he's a bitch-ass follower. Kanter has since condemned Turkey's involvement in attacking U.S.-backed Kurdish forces in Syria, but perfectly okay with the United States bombing the fuck out of Syria and stealing their oil. Perfectly okay with that. And labeled Erdogan the Hitler of our century. He has even gone as far as to demand sanctions on his own home country. We've heard this story before. I think if America puts sanctions on Turkey, this is going to solve the problem, he said in an interview with Fox News. Sanctions have been responsible for the destruction of many of Turkey's neighbors, including Syria, Iran, and Iraq. And I would also, even though it's not their neighbor, but we've seen the effects of sanctions when it comes to Cuba, when it comes to Nicaragua, when it comes to Venezuela. All these countries the United States puts sanctions on. The only ones that can afford to circumvent them really are Russia and China. So, man, the destruction of many of Turkey's neighbors, including Syria, Iran, and Iraq, where U.S. sanctions starved between 1 and 1.5 million people to death in the 1990s, according to senior UN officials. When Kanter's case is discussed in corporate media, he is nearly universally described as being persecuted solely for criticizing Erdogan. Never mentioned is that he is one of the most visible and vocal members of a group designated as terrorist by a NATO member state. A group that very likely masterminded a coup that killed hundreds. A journalistic omission that crosses the boundary from irresponsible to intentionally deceitful, because the media, the mainstream media, are fucking stenographers for the War Department, for Big Pharma, and for anybody that pays them enough. It is quite possible to feel sympathy and solidarity for Kanter and oppose Erdogan and the AKP without pretending that this context is irrelevant. This is from Danny Haifong. Enes Kanter claims he stands for human rights in China, yet is a proud supporter of Israel and its colonial oppression of the Palestinians, Haifong told Minpress, adding, his mentor, Fethullah Gulen, has deep connections with the CIA and publicly condemned the Gaza flotilla raid in 2010. Even after Israeli forces killed several activists trying to ship supplies to the blockaded open-air prison. Kanter's political motives are thus not merely questionable, but clearly aligned with the most reactionary forces on the planet. To conclude, is there any hard evidence that Enes Kanter is CIA, as the meme suggests? No, but that nigga's CIA. I'm saying, Bendu is saying he is. The CIA does not work like that. They would not be foolish enough to formally employ celebrities on their books. I don't know. John Krasinski says otherwise. And I used to like John Krasinski too, man, until he did that fucking Jack Ryan show. And it's crazy because before I got into studying imperialism and getting into politics and shit, I was a fan of that fucking show. But even with season 2, I knew it was something up with season 2 because I'm like, why are they focusing so much on Venezuela? Like, why are they focusing so much on this country? Because I didn't know what was going on at the time. That's actually, I started watching Jimmy Dore's videos about Venezuela after I watched that show because like there was something funky about that episode for me. It smelled of like propaganda a little bit. But yeah, so people like even somebody like Ryan, not is it Ryan? Yeah, Ryan Reynolds, man. I love Ryan. I'm a huge Deadpool fan. Well, not from the comics, but I love the Deadpool movies. But he's like, I think on Twitter, he's like one of the few celebrities that follows him. Angelina Jolie came out speaking out against like countries like China and shit. All like the CIA is ingrained in Hollywood, man. I need people to realize that it's ingrained in Hollywood. And it sucks because I'm a film fan. I'm a huge film fan. I love film. Like that's one of the things I want to do eventually. But I know my political views. I'm not going to be allowed in that club. Yo, and I need y'all to I need people. I try to explain this to people. Like all these war films you see, this, that, and the third. Like there was a big stink about China doing this like war film and shit like that. I'm like, do you know how many war films we make? Like propagandist war films we make? Like, come on, B. Come on. So, but to close this article out, formerly on their books, leaving a paper trail. There will be no utility in that as it would delegitimize all involved. It is far better to openly liaise with these individuals. However, is Kanter willingly and enthusiastically playing the role of national security state tool because it aligns with his and his movement's politics? Very much so. And in the end, there was little tangible difference between the two. Enes Kanter's politics are as shitty as his game. High Funk included. Danny's funny as shit, bro. Man, so there you have it, man. Enes Kanter's a fucking narc. He's a fucking CIA stooge. Don't pay him any fucking mind, like LeBron said. I don't pay that nigga no mind. You saw how his bitch ass, he didn't say shit to LeBron. This is a Lil Dicky song. I probably said it on the show before. I like saying this joke a lot, but this is Lil Dicky song where it's called like Professional Rapper, where he's like doing a rap like he's interviewing to be a professional rapper with Snoop Dogg and shit. And Snoop Dogg was like, "What you gonna do when you in the club and two niggas walk up on you trying to punk you?" And Lil Dicky was like, I wouldn't do shit." Bro, that was the same thing fucking Kanter did with LeBron. He's like, I'm not gonna do shit. Like just sat there like a little bitch and didn't say nothing, bro. Which is weird because him and LeBron had a couple scuffles back when he was on the Knicks and shit like that. Like they was about to fight. They was about to throw hands, bro. But regardless, Kanter's a bitch. Don't pay him no mind. Just laugh at him when he does this shit. Or tweet at him the fucking Palestinian flag. Do that. So with that being said, guys, this video was long. I didn't realize how long I went. So yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and close the video out there, guys. As always, like, subscribe, and share, and also comment. Emphasis on all that. I like hearing what you guys think. What am I doing now? Oh yeah, the Patreon is live, guys. I have videos on there, some fun videos. They're not behind the paywall, but it would be greatly appreciated if you guys, could leave a little donation. It's a great way to help support the show. Also, the QR link down below. Down below. The QR link down below is a path to supporting the show as well. It's greatly appreciated. But again, guys, thank you for all the love you do show me. And yeah, peace.